Hello and welcome to Crypto Animations. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the world of blockchain consensus mechanisms and the differences between proof of work and proof of stake. These two mechanisms are the most widely used in the blockchain ecosystem, and they have a profound impact on the security, scalability, and energy efficiency of blockchain networks. So if you're interested in learning more about proof of work and proof of stake, then keep watching. But before we dive into the details of these two mechanisms, let's take a step back and talk about why consensus is important in the first place. In a decentralized network like a blockchain, there is no central authority that can decide which transactions are valid and which are not. Instead, all of the nodes in the network must come to a consensus about the state of the blockchain, and this is where consensus mechanisms come into play. The two most widely used consensus mechanisms are proof of work and proof of stake. Both of these mechanisms are designed to provide a secure and reliable way for nodes in a network to reach consensus about the state of the blockchain. However, they work in very different ways, and this has important implications for the security, scalability, and energy efficiency of the networks that use them. Proof of work, which was first used in the Bitcoin blockchain, is a mechanism that relies on miners to validate transactions and add them to the blockchain. Miners are nodes in the network that compete to solve complex mathematical puzzles, and the first miner to solve the puzzle gets to add the next block of transactions to the blockchain. This process is called mining, and it requires a lot of computational power and energy. The main advantage of proof of work is that it is extremely secure. The puzzles that miners have to solve are so difficult, it's virtually impossible for an attacker to add fraudulent transactions to the chain without expending a huge amount of computational power. This makes proof of work a very effective deterrent against attacks on the network, and it is one of the reasons why Bitcoin has been so successful. However, proof of work also has some disadvantages. One of the biggest problems with proof of work is that it is very energy intensive. Because miners have to solve complex mathematical puzzles, they need a lot of computational power, which in turn requires a lot of energy. This has led to concerns about the environmental impact of proof of work, as well as issues with centralization. As the mining process tends to become more and more concentrated in the hands of a few large mining pools, this can lead to a lack of decentralization, which is one of the key principles of blockchain technology. Proof of stake, on the other hand, is a different kind of consensus mechanism that addresses some of the challenges of proof of work. In a proof of stake system, the nodes in the network are not selected based on their computational power, but rather on the amount of cryptocurrency that they hold. This means that the more cryptocurrency a node holds, the more likely it is to be selected to validate transactions and add them to the blockchain. One of the main advantages of proof of stake is that it is much more energy efficient than proof of work. Because the nodes in a proof-of-stake system are not selected based on their computational power, there is no need for them to expend large amounts of energy in order to validate transactions. This makes proof-of-stake a more sustainable and environmentally friendly way to reach consensus in a blockchain network. Another advantage of proof-of-stake is that it is less susceptible to centralization. Because the nodes in a proof-of-stake system are selected based on the amount of cryptocurrency that they hold, it is much more difficult for a small number of nodes to control the network. This can lead to a more decentralized and secure network, as well as greater fairness and transparency.